Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win, or you find a way to lose. So, the rumors are true, man. Sebastian Fundora sustained a left hand injury during sparring. I don't believe it, but the only truth that I believe is that the fight is being scrapped. So it's being postponed. Keith Thurman won't get an opportunity to fight for that WBC title on October 25th in Las Vegas. It's always some shit with PBC, always some shit with Keith Thurman, always something with, I don't know if they're trying to protect Fundora or get Thurman beat, or they're trying to phase Keith Thurman out. I don't know what's going on. But what sucks is the entire PBC on Prime Video pay-per-view event, including the co-feature between O'Shaquie Foster and Stephen Fulton, will be rescheduled to a later date with no timeline announced. Sounds to me like somebody needs a little Wu-Tang Cream dollar bill, y'all, for them to scrap the whole damn card. Now, Fundora, who recently defended his title against Tim Tszyu in July, matter of fact, Fundora, he fought Tim Tszyu in the rematch. Anyway, I don't know if that 2024 is correct. He just fought Tim Tszyu this year, so, the shit online be wrong. But now, it's all about Fundora. It sounds like they say recovering as Thurman awaits his opportunity for a second divisional championship. So, the rumors are true. You come down here, you can see it's been postponed. Ring Magazine posted and everything. I don't know what the story is, but somebody said here, Foster Fulton gets scrapped at another poster platform. I just think it could have been saved. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand. I just don't understand the issue. But hey, bottom line is, the fight's not happening. I really felt that Keith Thurman was going to show up and show out. This whole thing about Fundora in his hand, and I don't know, I just have a tough time. I need to see proof. You know what I'm saying? I need to see some proof on this. Everybody gets injured during training. I know it's October 10th. 25th is around the corner. He has a southpaw, so he can't afford to have his, I think it's his left hand. He needs that left hand. The last thing he wants is to get in the ring with Keith Thurman as a one-arm fighter. Or even if his hand is feeling okay, but it's not 100%, that's the last thing he wants to do is get in there. That would be a significant blow to his offensive arsenal. With Fundora, he uses both arms, but that left hand, that could be his money punch from time to time, man. Makes you wonder. People keep saying Keith Thurman's washed up. Keith Thurman's expired. He's beyond his expiration date. Fundora must have been doing some super hard sparring to get ready for a guy who's washed up, injury prone, broken, and beyond his expiration date. But anyway, man, I think it's kind of crazy. WBC scrap at 154. When you start seeing stuff like this happening where you can't really answer why it's happening, forces you to start making assumptions, which drives a healthy conversation. And my dialogue is going to be, just look, right? Because I'm all about the conversation. Boots is fighting Lima. You got Boots supposed to be fighting Abbas Baru. Keith Thurman was supposed to be fighting Fundora. Lubin was supposed to be fighting Virgil Ortiz. Murtazaliev is supposed to be coming back to fight somebody. But the bottom line is, Jermell Charles is supposed to be back fighting. Everything's getting active. Makes me wonder if PBC is going to really reschedule this fight, or if Keith Thurman is going to end up fighting someone different. And Fundora, they're going to do something different with him. You scratch the main event, why scratch the co-main? All these guys are working out and getting ready. I just don't understand it. Now they got to sit back now and figure things out with no money. Nobody got paid. You do all that work, all that discipline, all that training, all that sacrifice, maybe arguing with your wife. Some of these guys may have husbands, who knows, right? And we ain't judging them. Leaving your kids and paying for a training camp up to this point just to be told, hey, fight's canceled, and I don't know if they've recovered any of the money they spent, but forget the money. You can't get that time back with your kids and family. So things happen. You got to roll with the punches. I get it, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't suck. The shit sucks. Anyway, Fundora'S manager came out and said he'll return in January 2026. That means that PBC, I don't think they have any fights scheduled this year now. This is where Turki Al-Sheik's got to come up and, this is why they need Turki Al-Sheik. I don't know why these guys at PBC are still playing hardball. I know Turki Al-Sheik was supposed to be providing some funding to some of their fight cards and some of their events, which would mean that the fights can get active again. Then it makes me think there's something behind the scenes that happened where maybe Turki Al-Sheik said, yo, I'm not going to put the money up. Maybe there's a whole lot more to that conversation that we will never know because the fly on the wall doesn't talk. It just buzzes around and makes you miserable. But I do think there's something more to it, you know what I'm saying? Keith Thurman, he don't want to wait around till no damn January. He ready to go now. They asked Danny Garcia to try to save the fight. He said, hell no. You know Danny Garcia ain't getting back into it with no Keith Thurman. This Keith Thurman, he's hungry again. Keith Thurman will put the bing bings on Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia for sure ain't coming out of 154. I don't know. We got to wait and see. I guess the good thing is the fight's not canceled indefinitely. It just postponed. The whole intent is to reschedule, so I don't know. But with Keith Thurman, I'll go ahead and leave you with this. Keith, one-time Thurman, knew he was approaching a high-stakes opportunity. Sink or swim. And the funny thing is, you felt that there was going to be one mistake by Keith would be enough to change the fight's trajectory in his career. He also knew that that one mistake by Keith could be foolishly injuring himself in training camp. But no one could have anticipated Sebastian Fundora making a mistake, whether it's something innocent or him being reckless or whatever happened. For him to make to have a mishap in training camp to where all of a sudden fights pushed back, and I think the trajectory of Sebastian Fundora's career will forever be altered by this setback. You see, I think Fundora is injury prone. I think Fundora has been in all the fights he's been in, the shit's been a war. It hasn't been a war because the opponents he fought made it a war, because Fundora made it a war. This man's 7'3", some shit like that. 80-inch reach, 81-inch reach. Coming in there fighting like Vic Darchinyan. He come in here fighting like a goddamn strawweight. So that's his fault for getting banged up and bruised up to where he's getting injuries to his hands and stuff now. It doesn't have to be like that. You know, scar tissue and stuff that he has to his face. It didn't have to be like that. But Fundora can fight. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he can't fight. I'm just saying he chooses to fight in a way that's entertaining. We appreciate it as fans, but at the same time, for a guy like me, I'm watching, I'm like, yo, this is stupid. When is someone going to get a hold of this guy, climb up on a ladder, then grab him by his neck and shake him and say, hey, McNicholas, stop. But anyway, this may be the wake-up call that Sebastian Fundora needs, you know what I'm saying? Word on the street is, man, Keith Thurman, grinding outside the ring, inside the ring in training camp, more explosive than ever. Got ankle weights on, jumping rope, doing footwork drills. So he's back out there doing sprints. He's out there, man, with a coach that's helping him to be more explosive. They say Keith Thurman has all this shit out, the cones, the ladder drills. He got the damn hurdles out. He's got the weights out, jumping rope, pull-ups, a lot of calisthenics. They say Keith Thurman was beasting in training camp. And you know what? Remember, this could all be innocent. Fundora just got hurt. But it could be where Fundora, he kind of tall. He just kind of over there in California and just leaned on over a few of them states and looked over to Florida and said, fuck that. I ain't messing with that guy, Keith Thurman. One time, shit, he about to put me night-night. That lateral movement, no sir. Don't want nothing to do with that shit. So, you just never know. But I've been saying it, man. Keith Thurman can beat him. And you better believe, man, whether he's on the inside, Thurman wins the exchange. Mid-range, he wins the exchange. On the outside, I don't know about that. But what I will say, man, with the lateral movement, shifting angles, pivots, he's going to capitalize on Sebastian Fundora, and he's going to expose his flaws and going to make him look very vulnerable. Matter of fact, I think he would have whipped Sebastian Fundora's ass so bad and knocked him out, y'all would be crying. But you know what I say? Don't cry, dry your eye. Here comes your mother with, get out of here. Let Keith Thurman put the bing bings on him. Shit, y'all out here want to sip tea for this man's fever. You ain't got the fever. He got the fever, but you over here making a glass lemon tea, y'all putting honey packs in the shit. Anyway, we're going to see what's going on because Keith Thurman's had his history of injuries and layoffs, so he's an understanding guy. Keith Thurman probably frustrated, but he just going to go out there, probably blow his flute and shit, and sit out there on the beach, them seagulls squawking about, and just be like, things happen. But I just think, man, there's so many observers, so many people who are waiting for this fight. Let me tell you something. That Devin Haney, Brian Norman Jr., that's one of those fights where we like, yo, you can't miss that. Boots and Lima, yeah, we want to see it. But, I mean, that's not must-see TV, in my opinion. Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr., that's must-see TV. Terrence Crawford and Canelo, that was must-see TV. Keith Thurman and Fundora, this is what you call must-see TV. Yeah, it looks like we ain't going to get it anyway. But, Keith Thurman hasn't fought much in recent years, so, hey, we haven't seen him that much, so I guess it ain't going to hurt anybody. Nobody going to jump off a bridge butt naked into a river with man-eating crocodiles and swim across and stop halfway and splash in the water and say, crocodile, kill me. I think people just be like, yeah, whatever. We'll see the fight when we see the fight. So, at least as of right now, there's no blockbuster video evidence or leaked training footage indicating Thurman is not shredded, not in beast mode. But I'll tell you what, because they ain't letting cameras in the camp. But I'll tell you what, Thurman is definitely mentally primed and ready to go, man. And I think with Thurman, it's not just about the physical. I think it's about him sharpening his strategy and just looking to exploit Fundora'S errors. But that's still a tall task, and I'm not just, no pun intended, but that's a tall task, man. I think Keith Thurman gets him up out of there. But if you ask me, I think they should do something else. Don't make Keith Thurman wait. Just throw another fighter at him. But who can they throw at him that'll take the fight right now to go fight on October 25th? Danny Garcia could have done it because he's training right now. But he don't want that. He don't want that. He wants an easy fight. So Keith Thurman got to suffer and wait until next year, or PBC figures something out. Anyway, y'all keep cool. I was really looking forward to that fight. Damn, it's crazy. Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.